Hi there everyone, it's Trina McClune here. I have been talking about making your own moulds ever since I found out about it at a get together with some friends, and Wendy Jones showed me how to make them, and I just wanted to show you guys how it's done because it's really simple, and it's quite exciting because it means you get to make lots and lots of things for your pages that perhaps you wouldn't normally get to make. So I just thought I'd show you what you need to start with. And first off, we have the Pinksil, which is the product that actually makes the moulds. It comes out of the box in these two containers here, one pink, one white, and you've got to mix them together, and then you put it into the carton that you're going to make the mould out of. I also use little shot glasses that I've got from the $2 store. It just makes it really easy to pour in the exact amount that you require. Mix them together. I use a popsicle stick to mix them together, and then pour it into the mould. Now what I've got here, as you can see, I've actually already made this particular resin piece, and it was made from a chocolate mould. And so what I'm doing here is I'm actually making it into a pinkysil mould. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but I guess you guys know what I'm talking about. And so I'm making this one into a proper mould so that it's a lot easier to use, and also so that I can give this back to the person who gave it to me. The other thing I've got here ready to go is a star. Now this star came from a packet of buttons like this. Now these are teeny tiny ones. You can see beside them they're a lot smaller, but my plan is to make moulds out of all of them so that when I'm using stars on my layouts I can make them. The other thing that I've got here are some butterflies. Now these also came out of a packet of buttony type bead type product, and they're not as flat as they should be, but I'm going to give it a go and see what happens, because the ideal is that you do have something that is flat. Now obviously with this star it had a button on the back of it like these ones do, and so what I had to do is just take it out of the packet obviously, and then I cut it off, and then I sanded it so it was flat, so that we've got this. The other thing I'm trying here, which is something we're just going to give it a go and see what happens, is this also came out of a jewellery packet that I got from Bead Store, and I've put a piece of cardstock on the back of it so that it lies flat, and then I've stuck it down into this container. These are other flowers that I've got from friends, and they've already made resin pieces, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it into a mould, so I've got a whole flower mould. So you can see there's lots of stuff here that we're going to do. Let's get mixing. Okay, so we're going to start off by mixing the mould making product together. Pinksil, you've got a part A and a part B, and you just mix them equally together. So as I said earlier, I showed you these shot glasses, and I just buy them from the $2 shop because they're cheap, and it means that you get a whole, I've already used quite a few from here, but you get a whole heap for, I don't know, $2. And it's, before I start, I'm just going to say it's actually quite difficult to know how much you're going to need, because each mould is going to be a different size. So you can see with the little star one that I've got, it's only teeny tiny, whereas this one here is a bit bigger because it's got more items in it. So what I'm going to do is, and what I suggest to people when they're making it, is that they make enough moulds, or if you're using resin, then the resin pieces, get all your moulds together so that if you mix too much, you can then just quickly make more of the items that you're wanting. So we're going to start off and put in, let's have a look here, we're going to put in about, whoops-a-daisy, half into that one. In fact, I'm going to just take a little bit out of that because it's just a little bit over half, and it does have to be exact, because otherwise you get problems with the mixture not setting. And that's the beauty of doing this like this, is that you can sit them right next to each other and you know exactly how much is in your container. So now we just put them in the same container. I'm I'm going to use my popsicle stick, and you can get these in huge big packets at most stores, and then you've got them to use over and over again, and you just mix it together like so until it's a lovely pink colour. Don't forget to check all around the edges and along the bottom. You can perhaps not see there. If I put it on too much of an angle, it'll all fall off. But right down the bottom, got to get right around the bottom and where all the white is. And once it's done, you've probably got about 30 seconds to do this. You can start pouring. I'm just going to pop that in there like that. I'm going to make this first. Just pour it on top until it's covered over. And then we're going to make this one. There we go. And perhaps I should have done the large ones first. I'm going to pop that in there, and then we're going to do it again, which will just give us a little bit more time. So I'd quite like to do these now that I'm here. We're going to make the same amount again. Now you can see that there are a few little bubbles coming up, and that's not a biggie. I just get my stick and pop them out. And the best thing to do when you're making these is just to give them a bit of a squish like this to make sure that all the bubbles do come out from the actual mould, because you don't want a mould with bubbles in it. So I'm just going to go around and pop a few. You don't have to do this, but it's just my own personal thing. Some of the bigger ones. And what we're going to do is let this set for about 20 minutes. It's not very long at all. Then we're going to come back and take them out. Taking them out can be a bit tricky, but we're going to have a bit of fun trying it. Okay, so we're back. We've left them dry for about 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm just going to try and pull them out of here. You don't have to be particularly careful, because you can see it just comes out like that. And you see, if I had pulled that straight off, you'd see that a little bit of the mould had gone underneath onto the bottom of it, but that's okay. We just pull it out, and what we're going to do with that bit is just trim it off the edges. You can see that happening there, and along this part here. Because really at the end of the day we don't need a particularly nice and neat top. What we do need is the bottom done properly, and that looks like it's been done beautifully. I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but this star has some lovely lines on it as part of its design, and it's come out in the mould like that. So in a minute I'll try and put some resin in and we'll give that a go, but that's worked out beautifully. Now this is just, you can see, it's just from the Charlie's juice packet, from orange juice, so it's a really good size to make just one-off moulds like that. Now we're also going to see if we can get this one out. This one may be a little more difficult because it's got edges to it that the Charlie's bottle doesn't have. I'll just go all around the edge first and just loosen it up a bit. This one's also deeper. That one wasn't as deep. You can see this is more difficult to actually get out, but it will come in just a minute like that. Now you can see what's happened here, the same thing, where it wasn't quite attached to the bottom well enough, and it means that there's leftover bits around the edges, but all we have to do is cut around them like so. And there you go, a beautiful cameo mould that we can use again and again. Okay, now these other two, it's still a bit sticky in this one actually. I may have made the mixture a little bit wrong. I'll just see what happens if I pull this up. Yeah, no, it's still a bit sticky. What about this one? This one's looking good. Now I can't remember, what did we put in here? Oh, we've got lots of flowers. Just need a helping hand to pull that up. There we go. And off it comes. Okay. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see that flower that's come out there? And I'm not sure if this has worked or not. We might just have to ensure that these areas are kept clear so that when we put the resin in, it actually does go in properly. And that's all part of what I'm doing by just cutting this off here, because you can see that there's lots of, I'm just going to pull that bit off. There's lots, it's done most of its job, but we may need to just cut these bits off, because at the end of the day it just needs to go into the mould. It doesn't actually need to have a top on it. That would be good. So you can see, let's have a look at what's happened here. Again, we've got a little bit of mould over the top of it, and that's okay. I'm just going to pull it out here like this. Cut around it. And we have more beautiful flower moulds. Look at that, it's stunning. So all we need to do is ensure that we've got to the top of the mould, because that's the most important thing, is just getting the base covered. I'm going to pop it all off. And there we have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with this particular flower a little bit more and just get the extra bits off it, and then we're going to put some resin in and we're going to make some actual resin pieces. But how easy was that? Be back in a minute. Okay, so we're back. I've cleaned up the moulds a little bit and we're going to put some resin in them now. Same exact process. I've got my two shot glasses. I've got easy cast resin mixture, and I'm just going to mix them together and then put them in the moulds. These need a good shake before you use them. But otherwise it's super simple again. And these work a lot quicker, so you do have to be quicker when you start mixing to ensure that you do get it mixed and into the moulds quickly. And do mix it properly, otherwise it will, you'll just get a really soft mould. I have done that before. It wasn't a disaster, I could still use it, but you're better to get it, just spend a little bit more time mixing it before you put it in the moulds. Got right through to the bottom, yep. Okay, let's start putting it in. I'm going to try with my star first. Whoops, a little bit too much there. Okay, I'm going to put some into, oops, as you can see, that's me being overzealous with my You might need to think of a different way with these little moulds of putting them all in, because what's going to happen now is we don't actually want it going over the top, because then they all join together. There we go. What I will do in this instance is make it work, and then I'll just trim them. And sand them down, because that's what you can do. Gonna give this one a go. See how it works. Again, I've got too much liquid in there. You have to be careful not to overfill them, which of course I haven't been this time around, but you can learn from my mistakes. There we go, we're all done. Now this is where you need your extra moulds just hanging around so that you can put it in there, because otherwise you run out, and you might as well make as much as you can. With what you've got. Okie doke. Now we're just going to let them set. I might actually go and get some paper towels and just wipe up the excess amount. Just be back in a moment. Okay, so I've got some paper towels and I'm just wiping up the mess I've made. You can see that some are already starting to go. What happens is the very thickest part starts to set before the thin parts. So you can see we've already got some working. It's pretty exciting. And don't forget, these moulds can be sanded down once they're done. So yeah, I'm just giving it a bit of a clean up, but it's not that big a deal because I'll just sand it once I'm finished. I'm going to be really interested to see how this one turns out. You can see it's a very, well actually you probably can't see because it's not so good on the camera, but it's a very thin mould, so that's probably going to be one of the last ones to set, as are these butterflies. They're going to be interesting. So we might come back in a little minute and see how it's all going. Okay, we're back with all of these things that have set. They're looking a bit the worse for wear, but we can fix that up. I'm going to pull this one out first. Oh my goodness, it's perfect. You can see that. Nothing needs to be done to that. Let's have a look at that up close. I'm so excited. Oh, this is stunning. A gorgeous, what would you call it? It actually came off a $2 shop ring. You can see here I haven't quite got enough down the bottom here, but what I'm going to do with that is just pop that under something so that it covers it up. Gorgeous. Cameo brooch. Now let's see if this worked. What have we got here? Yep, it has worked. All I'm going to need to do there is just trim this down and sand it. Let's see if I can. Yep, easy peasy. Look at this. So you can see I can just do that and then I've got a beautiful flower. And these butterflies, let's see how they've turned out. They're actually all joined together, as you can see. Some of them have worked and some of them haven't. So I'm going to need to have a look at what I'm doing in the moulds and make sure, like that one's perfect. So is that one. And so is that one here. But see, like these ones down here, no, that one's okay, but those ones didn't have quite enough in them, so obviously I needed just to give this a bit of a wriggle to make sure that the resin went into all the spots. So there you go. Some beautiful resin pieces that I can now use alcohol inks or paint or any other kind of thing to decorate them up, make them beautiful. Stoked. Thanks for joining me on this little class. Really thrilled to have you here with me. Bye.